you think wearing the headphones helps you focus?
Yeah, I think it allows you to catch things that other people might otherwise say. And then there's also whisper bits. You're basically putting yourself in the medium of the listener.
I feel like, we're in a different world when we put them on.
Does the
Our
20-year-old
podcast world? Mm-hmm.
Does the 20-year-old podcast have a theme song?
Yeah. It was free.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I paid.
Oh.
Kevin Frolix did it, but I don't use it anymore. Now I just use a song from the movie because I felt like it was a little too campy, the song.
I never heard it.
Well, it's yeah. Shelby nailed it. It's perfect.
I do like this podcast because people have the ambiance of like
New York,
living
New
in
York
Queens.
City.
Yeah, you should have a Yemeni man come on and yell at you.
I think
That'd be
the
that'd be
train
the
is a
New
really
York.
relaxing noise, so people will appreciate it.
Like my cable went out and I had to go upstairs with my landlord for the cable guy to get in, and then just a 200-year-old Hispanic woman just screamed at me.
Yeah. Do you think
I've lived at this place 5 years. I didn't know this woman lived there till I had the cable to do it. And she was the oldest person I'd ever seen in my life.
York.
Do you think she'll do the podcast to help set up the ambiance?
Yeah, she could only do the podcast about like the train arriving at the station. That was a reference to the Lumiere brothers, who you can learn all about at the American Museum of the Moving Image, located just down the street.
Don't tell them where we live.
Why?
People could find us.
No, I do think like Broadway and 31st is one of the best intersections.
Joel.
Well, not to transition subjects, but this week we watched There's Something About Mary, and directed by another great set of brothers, the Farrelly brothers. And I'm joined this week by Joel Wachowski.
Hello, how are we doing, 20-year-olds?
That's what they call him. And Shelby Taylor.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, she's in here. And then the final person on the pod is Tilly.
You might want to introduce yourself there, Matt.
Yes, I'm also Matt Anderson. Thank you guys for joining us.
Matt is such a polite Midwesterner. He thought he wanted to introduce a dog before the host of the show. In case you can't hear that, there's a dog sitting on the couch. I brought her here.
Yeah, she's great. She's so well behaved.
It's going to take me forever to get this dog hair out of this couch.
It's not that bad.
Wow.
She's not that shitty at all.
It's fine.
Are you playing up a character for the podcast?
Yeah. This is my character, grumpy couch lady. All right. That'll be it.
But who are the brothers again? Go back to the moving image real fast.
The Lumiere brothers.
What did they do?
They're the fathers of cinema.
What do you mean, Joel?
They're the first ones who figured out that in Paris, France, around like the 1890s, they figured out how to like capture and present the basic movie.
Take a bunch of
they
pictures.
They did the one
once.
of the train, and everybody thought the train was coming at them, so they got very scared because they didn't understand.
Those were the guys?
Yeah, they ran out of the theater. Yeah.
Wow. I remember reading it. Like I went to film school, so I should remember this, but I was high for 99% of it. But I remember they talked about people running out of the theater. That was so funny.
Wow, I didn't even go to film school, and I remembered it quicker than you.
I am considered the Lumiere brothers of comedy. Actually, I think
You're both men.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm an innovator, but really it's just because people run out of the theater because they think I'm attacking them. I like to touch my audiences in a very literal sense.
Right. Yeah, none of them have seen this kind of act before.
He doesn't mean that.
Cross promotional. I believe in synergy. What happened to Little Miss Rock Bottom this year?
Oh yeah.
Give us the inside scoop on that.
And if you guys are movie fans, we're all comedians. Shelby is the best host in New York City.
Thank you,
right? And one of the best producers.
I am.
Jamie, Mad Cat Mattern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little too inside baseball.
It's really inside baseball.
Very unfunny.
But yeah,
good yearly
very
show.
good. I produced a show called Little Miss Rock Bottom, which is a great show. But we're looking for a bigger venue for it, so we're
You got to get a tape.
tabling it for a little while.
Oh, that's good. I just want to get Matt something to edit out.
I'm leaving it.
I didn't want to say that. We're like, yeah, okay.
I'm leaving it.
Did you really liked that pageant, huh?
I did love that.
Yeah.
I had a crazy day. I worked, I did that pageant, and I did like feats of strength at that pageant.
Yeah, great bit, by the way. Could you explain that bit for everybody real fast? Because I still talk about this to this day.
It's okay because actually in the middle of Summer Mary, I do like a 3-minute sketch. But I do feats of emotional strength. Like I read a book from my grandmother that like a beautiful inscription, and I tear it apart. And then I have someone sit on my back and they do push-ups as they tell me my flaws. And someone actually really hurt me at that show. My roommate sat on my back, but she did it in the moment because she wanted to tell me all my flaws. So she sat too low on my spine and it hurt me.
And she was so funny. But it did. I could tell that you were in pain. And then you're kind of shaking a little bit when you got off stage. And I was like, maybe that's just from carrying John Rosenberger, which he also did.
Yeah.
You fought through it, though. That
was after she had already sat on your back.
Yeah, I know. And then afterwards, I drove to Boston. I slept about 3 hours in an Airbnb. And like I wake up. I make sweet love with my lady, and I'm going to shower, and she says, "What's this bug in the bed?" And it was a bed bug.
No.
So I'm having like the worst back pain of my life. I haven't slept out of this crazy day where I worked 14 hours, did that show, drove to Boston, made sweet love in the morning, and
I like the idea that you always call it sweet love.
And I borrowed my friend's car, and you can't bring bed bugs back to New York. Like people will kill you.
Yes, you get ostracized. I've had bed bugs before.
Yeah, so we had to like change our clothes. We borrowed my friend's car, so we had to like. We just took an Uber to the dry cleaners. We got them all cleaned. We changed in Target.
Did you tell on the hotel?
We was an Airbnb, so they refunded us. And then we went to a good hotel.
Maybe you should have done that in the first place. I guess the real thing Joel's trying to say is always spring for the hotel. La Quinta. Wake up on the bright side.
I like you guys Airbnb or hotel?
We hotel. I
we
love
hotel.
hotels. I'm obsessed with hotel. My dad was a divorced dad, so we stayed in a lot of hotels growing up on weekends, and I find them very comforting, especially the sound of their AC units. Yeah.
Is that why you live near the train today?
Yeah, that's why I live near a train. I just need something kind of in the background.
It's like I'm always on vacation with my dad.
All right.
Also love a free pool.
Yeah, let's transition over to the movie, guys. So we just finished up watching There's Something About Mary. Fucking hilarious comedy from 1998. Cameron Diaz, Matt Dillon, Ben Stiller, Lee Evans, Chris Elliott. Thank you for choosing this film. Jeffrey Tambor makes a cameo. Harlan Williams, Sarah Silverman,
Richard Jenkins in a one-scene role. Brett Favre
with the cameo at the end.
And just the level of the cast performance is incredible in this movie. You call it great comedy, but I'm gonna get on. Can I get on my soapbox a little bit?
Yeah, get up there. You chose this movie.
I think this is a great movie.
Okay.
I think it's wonderfully executed.
It's a little preachy.
No, the level, right?
the movie's preachy or Joel?
Joel.
Okay, well.
I'm prepared for a take that I think Shelby is ready to give.
Go ahead. No, I want to hear what you're finishing.
Well, like all the little gags, like they so thoroughly created the universe that all the little gags, like the headphone thing at the end is built, like that Brett thing, like they allude to it so many times throughout. And like, it just unfurls so elegantly, but at the same time, it's this screwball, like, jokey comedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Shelby, how do you feel about?
Okay.
What's your take then?
I thought it was a fun movie. It felt like a senior year college film student's project.
Whoa.
A lot of the scenes even felt like they were like being directed by like a first time director because they felt more like a play staging than like a movie. a lot of times when they were all standing in rooms, it was awkward. So I don't know. These little things kind of annoyed me about it.
Well, that kind of
but-
blocking existed a little bit in the 90s.
And that might be it, is that I'm just so young that I don't remember it. So, but I will say there were some real, I was surprised
So
at how
many
funny
funny
I found
bits.
this. Yeah.
This fucking comedy killed, in my opinion.
And it is a little bit like a play because it's all so character driven. Like that movie
Sure.
starts like it gets out so hot. You have the little like you have the like Jonathan Richman as the Shakespearean choir. And then like in the beginning, Ben Stiller's character is just built extremely well. And credit to who played Mary's father.
Oh, the guy that was fucking with him. He started the
her
fucking with him bit.
stepdad.
Yeah, that bit.
No, who played him?
Right, I know. I'm stalling for time.
But
Jesus.
he came in. That movie opens. We were introduced to his character, and then he's just that guy nailed that scene. And I
Yeah.
thought he
Yeah.
really hooked. Like the way it hooks you in from the beginning is so wonderfully done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I loved how that bit it, like carried throughout the movie, like you were saying earlier. Like he starts by fucking with him. He's like, "Oh, this other guy, Woogie, comes along later." He's like,
You don't have to tell me.
anyway, he's like, "I'm just fucking with you." His name is Keith David. I was
Yeah.
trying to look up his
right.
other
Right.
filmography,
Keith.
but
Yeah.
yeah, good old Keith.
He was very good. Yeah, there were a lot of all the characters. I didn't see one person in this movie where I was like, "That's a bad actor," except for the Neil guy in the second half of the movie. The guy who becomes you find out he's just a pizza
Norm.
guy.
Norm.
Second half, like kind of fine as the British character. Once he becomes the pizza guy, it seems like so not good. Like he didn't have enough range for that part.
I think it's interesting that you said it was like a play because now that I think about like all the characters were a little big, they were all like kind of dressed a little like over the top and they were
yeah.
mugging to the camera constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made this movie good, though. You know, that tone of that play. You
Yeah,
know?
like I just thought the universe was so heightened the whole time that like it was very effective and it was able to go. That allowed it to go to that like emotional, romantic space that made it work ultimately.
Did you like? Did this movie work for you? I mean, you don't seem sold on it because, like, okay, the bit with okay, so the dog had just taken speed. You know, the guys gave
You're
the
too
dogs.
loud. Yeah.
I'm too loud.
Yeah, a little close to the thing.
Okay.
You're good. Don't adjust it. Go ahead.
So the dog taking speed. I love that scene because he's like going in to eye gouge the dog.
Oh, yeah.
The dog blocks it. That's the bit of the year. I have not laughed that surprisingly in such a long time.
What was that guy's name? Matt Dillon?
Yeah.
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 He reminded me a lot of like Ace Ventura. That's like the character it kind of felt like, which is funny because that was just like a year before, or was it the same year?
Yeah, it was also, I guess, a guy in a Hawaiian shirt skulking around Miami, like fucking with animals.
some reason.
Literally, there's nothing
For
in
some
common with their
reason.
personality.
But they were dressed alike.
But I'm just saying, like, wasn't Ace Ventura like either last year or this year?
Yeah, but it was 94, I believe. But Ace Ventura wouldn't go along to associate with the retarded until that Man on the Moon documentary was released.
I'm not sure when it's coming out because I don't think it's this year. I haven't seen it.
Oh, there's
Joel
a,
just said 94.
No, I mean, I don't think even number 2 came out in 1998.
I was just saying they seemed like very similar, but it was a good character. I thought it was well acted. I don't know what I didn't like about this movie.
I think it was the blowjob joke. You didn't like the blowjob joke. He's forcing his wife's head back down, and that's another blocking joke where he's watching TV and then her head pops up
No.
like, "Oh, I always knew he was gay." Also,
I
the
didn't care.
homophobic truck stop stuff.
yeah, it doesn't age the best. It's not the most PC
No.
movie. There's
It's
stuff.
I
still
didn't
pretty funny.
find that blowjob scene wasn't bad. I don't want to.
okay.
I don't want to be.
Don't
put those words in my mouth.
All right,
I'm not offended by.
That's a
what
great way to
marriage
defend your stance on a
does.
blowjob scene.
I'm not offended by
So what are you saying?
a
babe?
man and a wife consensually enjoying each other. That's fine. So please don't make me the overly offended one on this podcast.
But I didn't like that he was watching TV. You know,
that was
like,
not nice.
The
Yeah,
blowjob shouldn't be
but
secondary.
maybe they're both into that. You know, so we really are not ones to judge.
She was watching
so.
too, you know, because she popped up and she said,
"Yeah, that's what I'm
Isles
saying.
knew
Maybe she just
he was gay."
feels uncomfortable under pressure, and he's helping." See, we don't know these people's lives.
Yeah, but you know what? These I
only
gotta
see
say,
a glimpse into these people's lives.
Back to my stances. This is a great film. These characters are so well constructed. It's easy for us to project sexual neuroses and fetishes onto them. Like honestly, this movie.
You're right. They're just blank enough. You know, they're just open-ended enough.
Yeah, you just see everything else.
The puppy's falling asleep on me.
Yeah, the puppy is falling asleep.
Shh. No, not you till I go to sleep.
She looks like you during this movie. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Fargo in terms of like everyone has this one base motivation, and they're all just kind of crossing paths, and like
that's another one. It's highly stylized in that kind of way.
Yeah, and like if you were to like look at the plot of this as a graph, as opposed to like most comedy movies, like you've got like 7 characters intersecting, and like their action plays off each other. There's so much natural conflict within like this confines of this script.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so I just think like the level of writing and just like such a neat idea it is at the baseline.
It is a neat idea.
A guy hires a private detective to get with the one who got away, and then the detective falls in love with her. Like for that idea, just seeing the way they expanded it is like amazing to me.
This seems like such like a life like project. Like it seems like this was somebody's like idea, like their whole life to make this movie, right? Doesn't this seem like something they've had up their sleeves for a long time? Because it just feels so well constructed and like highly thought out. And
well, it looks like it might be Ed Decter and John Strauss. They wrote it with the Farrelly brothers. So I'll take a look at what's up with them.
It seems like such an involved, like well constructed, unique, I don't know, plot. That was really cool. I thought about how there's all these little jokes, but this overarching joke of like all the new stalkers that we're finding, like that was brilliant to me. I thought that was really
like how
funny.
they expanded how everybody
was,
obsessed with Mary,
and then they go crazy with it at the end with the guy shooting and like.
Yeah, and if she hadn't gotten back with Ben Stiller, I think it'd be an even better movie.
I think it would have been a fine end to action.
Yeah. Don't give me that art house bullshit,
but don't
Joel.
you think that would have been really funny if in the end she just marries Brett Favre? Like, like that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty funny.
Life turns out better if you have a jawline.
Yeah. In the end,
he looks like a fucking brick wall in that.
Yeah, he looks great.
That was like steroids era fucking
that was before
quarterbacks.
he even did Wranglers commercials.
Yeah, 1998.
If you were Mary, who would you have picked?
Oh,
Ben Stiller. You know, good old cum boy.
Do you know? There's no way on God's green earth that she would have picked Ben Stiller. That was a real scenario.
Because they had a failed prom date and then they went out to dinner once. I guess there was a montage there a little bit.
He's not hot enough for that much of a second chance. Like I know that that's her thing throughout the movie.
He's a writer.
Is that he's supposed to be.
You know, he's cool. He's neat.
Her thing throughout the whole, like when they meet, the thing is that she's so hot, but she likes these weird things about guys.
Yeah,
you know?
Mary is like the ultimate male fantasy.
Right. But
well, that's how they build her.
Yeah, she's hot.
She's like, let's go upstairs and watch Sports Center. You're like, okay, unbelievable character.
But I'm really glad they didn't do like manic pixie dream girl with her, which I feel like they could have easily done. They made her this kind of dorky, but still not dorky, but still just like a likable hot woman.
Yeah, and like every guy watching is gonna be like, "Oh wow,
yeah,
like, she wants to watch sports."
that was kind of a forced little detail in there that I was just like groan, like.
Yeah, but it's not out of place because they're forcing every detail.
Everything, yeah.
I love the cum scene; like they hold that so long.
Yeah,
and
the reveal they hold. Yeah,
but the way they cut around the ear. And like had it like unfurled during the scene at the doorway. I thought that was like Hitchcockian.
It's Hitchcockian. I like the word of the cock there. how funny and unbelievable though is it
It's on a level.
that you're like, where did it go? I was just like, how do you not find your cum?
Well,
Matt.
there's a variety.
Listen, I know there's a lot of
Matt,
you got to make a lot
really
of
want
leaps
to go
in this,
into
but
this here, but
stop.
uh,
I love how like every single scene in this movie that somebody wins the scene. That's what makes it so well written to me. Is like if you look at each individual scene, like there's like a conflict between two characters and one person wins the scene. It's great.
Yeah, that's just a good point.
I really want to find a way to shit on that, but it's that does happen.
Are we talking you into this movie?
A little bit. You know what? If I can appreciate, it's like how every time I try to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm just like, I know it's supposed to be campy, but I don't like it. But this is a little bit more palatable than that. But it's still me having to get over this. I know it's supposed to be this style, but it's hard for me to.
Maybe Ben Stiller did something.
I also hate Ben
To a
Stiller.
woman.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Ben Stiller
Right?
fan at all. He's hard to watch, and like even after you go through this whole journey with him, as he's the ultimate schlub.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, why'd you get with him?
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I just kind of want to tell her, like, it's still Ben Stiller. He's lying to you. Like, it's a creep.
Maybe it's just Ben Stiller bias.
And
It's
this
just icky.
and this one,
leaking into this film, this fucking art house classic.
and this is where Ben Stiller arrived too. Actually, like this was a template for every Meet the Parents movie, and so many of those, like
It was.
Ben Stiller's in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoolander.
This has tons of relief, though. That's what makes this movie good. Is they'll make them uncomfortable, but then they'll give you like a fucking really funny gag where everyone gets to have fun. Or like Matt Dillon's relieving the tension, being like, "Oh, I love working with retards," and you're like, "Oh my god."
I think what I liked about the level of Ben Stiller's character, even though I do think I have a Ben bias, is that he wasn't just like zipping his dick every scene. Like that happened once or twice where he did shit that was like really horrible, but he also had redeeming moments.
Yeah, and I love that they made him a mover.
Was that his job?
Yeah, there was a scene where like a handicapped guy bullied him.
Yeah. And it's like this unbelievable situation where he didn't know about dolly carts too. You've done moving before, right?
Oh yeah, I've hung up my back brace.
You gotta remember this is 1998.
I'm pretty
Yeah, the guy's wheelchair was the highest piece of technology in the whole film.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but you know what? This was just over the line because cell phones are in the movie, so
Are
like,
they?
Yeah, the entire gag of Matt Dillon driving close
Were
to the
those
house.
supposed to be cell phones? I thought those were just like walkie-talkies.
Well, that was
Maybe
the
they're just
eavesdropper.
talking.
I thought
lady.
he had like a detective walkie-talkie, and they just like had one for each other in the house or something. Like,
Oh my
that
god!
did
What
not
movie were you
register.
watching?
That didn't register as cell phones
That's
to
funny.
me.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're not. They're definitely not going to be a fucking iPhone X.
I
Do you
was like thinking maybe they had flip phones, and then I'm like, no, not 98. Wow.
do you think they'll ever remake movies like Casablanca to have the characters have cell phones?
No, they'll never do that.
Maybe in
Joel.
100 years. I mean,
People are like, what are they doing? They're just talking in a bar? We don't have any context for this.
I haven't felt an emotion my entire life.
These people just speaking to each other's faces? These freaks.
These are they the bad guys? They're smoking.
Oh, man.
You could tell Mary wouldn't pick Ben Stiller just because the way he smoked a cigarette in that
Oh,
scene where
boy.
he smoked.
I thought they were
both-
smoking pot.
No
they
way,
both
they
were
smoking
smoking the
cig.
same cigarette like they were smoking pot.
Maybe they just wanted it to be an allusion to pop, but no way they could get that in there.
I think they were trying to make it look cool for kids.
It looked like a
that's
blunt.
it's like the way a
It
kid would
looked
hold
like-
it. Like,
I don't know about you, but I looked like a blonde.
Yo, you think Mary smoked weed though?
Yeah, I think she
Hell
was
yeah, dude.
a little high.
oh yeah, yeah, dude.
She's a surgeon though.
Yeah, it keeps her hand steady. She's an orthopedic surgeon, though.
Yeah, every time I watch this movie, I fall in love with her. I was like, wow, what a good woman.
Well, it's not.
And I know
Me
we'll get
too.
along because I see how she treats her brother.
Dude.
So-
Right.
Well, it's
Right.
not hard
She's really
to
good with her
fall in love
brother.
with her because set deck and, costume design, they put her out there braless in literally every scene.
She does not wear a bra in this movie.
You can see her nipples.
Yeah.
Yo, we gotta isolate that drop. Yo, Matt, you watch Oprah today? You can see her nipple.
You can. It's uncomfortable, watch it with your family.
Well,
And this was a good introduction.
I don't think women should have to wear bras. So why is it so bad that
I think
mean,
it's
a
good.
part of
I
her
think
body?
it's great.
Matt.
It's selling tickets to kids.
Yeah.
What's
Huh?
wrong with that?
But you know what? On the opposite side of that coin, like, I'm a man, and sometimes I wish I had a little help hiding the nip. I can't wear polo shirts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you tried pasties and polos?
Yeah, that's gonna be a good look. Take off my shirt. I got a damn pasties on.
You turn around and your hands are over your
It would be funny if they had pasties for men because they just market them to us and be like, yeah, they're instead of spangles, it's like a golf putting green. You just put a little disc of AstroTurf. No, that's not a pasty. That's a sports
No,
strip.
Shelby. No, Shelby. She's over here like,
Male pasties are a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they give you a little bit of support too, by support, like if they like matted them down a little bit more too.
Yeah, but you gotta
For
make
men?
you
For
gotta make it
nipples
look
or matted
like,
them down.
For men, like for like just keep their like it would be like good for men who have.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Maybe we could make like Batman breastplate type pasties.
Oh, that would be cool.
Listen, I see where you're getting at, and I
Chest
agree.
stickers.
If you're not beautiful, you shouldn't be seen.
What I'm saying is, just wear a t-shirt at the pool. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Guys,
Shelby.
There should be a government council that tells you how much clothes you should wear.
We are not far off.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like
Their
you just called the
midriffs,
future.
No way, because we're going further away from fitness.
and
It's
the
more,
kids can't dance.
Really, I think Wall-E is the most like accurate vision of our future. We're already doing it. We're these fat slobs just never moving, ordering stuff off our phone. It's
Dude, I
gross.
MMA fight. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we're
I'm like,
great. We're killing it. We're killing it. I'm talking.
You're talking about the rest of them
I just can't.
outside these doors.
I just spent a month in the American South.
Wow. I spent
Oh yeah, like so 99% of America is
24
what you're
years
talking
there.
about.
Yeah,
22. Oh my God.
your math is terrible.
I've been going a while.
When I first met Shelby, she said she was a year younger than she was. So she kind of deceived me much
I said
like
I was a year older than I was.
Yeah,
right,
but you
right.
said you killed a guy in Iraq.
potato.
Do you hate Arabs?
Dude, we're gonna get along. Just Shelby, Shelby staked out my apartment, and she found out that I hate Arabs to bond with me.
I was like, what are you talking
She used
about?
the same technology as Matt Dillon in this movie.
Yeah, something I really related with was how I used to stalk Matt before we got together. So,
Did you stalk Matt
Fun
a little
bit.
bit?
no, I didn't.
We had a fun time. We courted each other at an open mic.
Yeah, we did the old-fashioned courting at the open mic.
Which might be sadder than meeting online, but we're
Hey,
into it.
good. We did meet at
Right?
an open mic.
I'm trying to find a clip. I want to play the Harlan.
What open mic
Williams.
did you?
EVS baby murder room.
It was a real rough
RIP.
one.
Nobody really murdered. It was it was a hard time, but we made
The
it
bar played like hardcore porn,
on
like on the TVs, and that was their thing.
But we weren't there for that. We were there for the open mic.
Yeah. We were ruining their vibe.
Yeah. That was great.
I'll never forget meeting your grandmother.
I know. I've thought about it, Joel.
Hardcore pornography was on. I watched 7 Asian women get fisted, but she was the most beautiful woman I saw that whole night. She told her bit about sun chips.
I mean, the story's actually quite lovely. We were in the back shit talking, and then one of our friends was on stage talking about a rather difficult subject. Maybe not too great, but it was about sexual assault. And on TV was like a form of...
Cut all of this out of the podcast.
Yeah.
You mean the Hollywood hello?
No.
That's correct, Joel. Yeah. So it was like I was just like pointing
Don't
at
go
the
further
screen
into
in the stage,
No,
and
don't.
Shelby and I were like, "Oh my god, why don't you want to share this wonderful story with our future children?"
And then we went to more open mics together, and then we started dating.
Yeah, beautiful story, rather.
So, what character is closest to Matt's courtship in this movie?
Great question.
Matt is Ben Stiller.
I'm not Brett Favre.
Matt-
Wait, you hate you hate Ben Stiller in this movie. What's happening?
You're like Ben Stiller mixed with the. No, you're like Ben Stiller. I don't know what to tell you. You're very sweet. And well, you're closest to Ben Stiller. I mean, this wasn't like our life. I can't.
What about Sarah Silverman? I feel
He
close
was
to
a
her.
lot like Sarah Silverman too. Like he's
Yeah.
just a good friend.
That was a nice little role for her. Like she was only in a few scenes, but she had a couple good lines, and like she popped. Like I remember the first time I saw this movie as like a kid, I was like, oh, she's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, women can be funny too.
There's a lot of funny, but like when you start to
Jeez.
appreciate a comedian, especially back then, like
A
you wouldn't
cameo is a big
look 'em-
deal.
You wouldn't look them up on Instagram or Twitter, but you'd see like, oh yeah, they're funny. You see them like 9 months later, like, oh, I remember that funny person.
Yeah, like when I saw Patton Oswalt in King of Queens.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was like, God, this guy from King of Queens is doing a stand-up special now.
I hope he
this
talks
King
about
of Queens
UPS.
guy is
He's talking
really
about
taking
King of
off.
Queens.
That's so funny. Another stand-up in this film. I want to watch this clip. You guys ready to watch this clip?
Yeah.
All right. So we got Harlan Williams and Ben Stiller in the car driving down to meet Mary.
If you can forgive Harlan.
Hey, thanks for picking me up, man.
Forgive him for what?
Yeah, no problem.
The racist Rocket Man song.
Straight, so I could use the company.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been standing in the same spot for 5.5 hours. You know they made it illegal to hitchhike in this state?
Really? Oh, that must make it really tough.
So, what's going on with you? You a salesman or?
We're watching the whole scene.
No.
No, I was just going to pause it throughout and check in on you guys. I feel like it's a nice break for the audience. They get to hear a little bit of the film.
And well, this story arc is like so funny in the middle. Like he goes through the worst thing imaginable right when you first meet him, and they keep finding ways to up that and up that and up that.
Yeah.
Like being caught in like a bathroom like sting, then like implicated in a murder, assaulted by a cop, and he got off the whole time. And like just the way Harlan Williams plays it, like this must have been one of his stand-up bits.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Like I really like this cameo by Harlan was like, I think you would go see him after this. Maybe not Sarah. I mean, like, what was Sarah Silverman's big joke? Like Harlan Williams is going to go on to do like a full-blown bit here.
No,
But
I'm
I don't know.
nothing.
I am.
Yeah?
I'm
you
a salesman.
get their tone too.
I'm gonna
You
start
know what
my
I
own
mean?
company.
Like it's just
Really?
kind of
You want in?
I don't know. I think it lends itself to stand up a little bit.
Well, it is a little bit like he's
Nah,
playing with the tension, like
I don't
a
really have
stand-up
any,
would.
money or...
You
Right.
into this thing, the 8-minute abs?
Like,
Yeah, sure.
just pretend Ben Stiller never responds.
Yeah, well, this is gonna blow that right out of the water. Listen to this. 7
I'm gonna look up
minute
if this is a bit right now.
abs.
Right, yes.
Pretend you didn't say that. Nope,
all right.
didn't say any
I
of
see where
this.
you're going.
Think about it. You walk into a video store, you see 8-minute abs sitting there. There's
Right.
7-minute abs right beside it. Which one are you gonna pick, man?
I would go for the 7. Yeah, I'd go for
Bingo,
the
man,
7.
bingo.
And then he says
7-minute
this
app.
part in
and
his
we
set.
guarantee just as good a workout as the 8-minute folk.
You guarantee it? That's how do you do that?
If you're not happy with the first 7 minutes, we're gonna send you the extra
What
minute
stand-up do you
free.
wish they
See,
gave
that's
this
it. That's our
role
motto.
to?
That's where we're coming.
Like, wouldn't you wish if the like
Jerry Seinfeld.
they gave the hitchhiker role to Martin Lawrence? They wanted to have and he was just like, you ever notice women don't be washing their ass?
Ben Stiller.
Almost started
Yeah.
ass washing business. Yeah, that would be great. It's just Gallagher.
He gives Ben Stiller a poncho.
Yeah. It's just a very confusing scene, start to finish.
And I love the art department in this movie because in this scene they just want to make him seem like a little off-putting, so they just give him a cello case.
Yeah, a cello case.
Kind of looks
and
like
it's
a
red.
body. Yeah.
It's a literal red flag.
Yeah, and there's so many like little things where you don't notice right away, but as soon as they like reveal a little bit more information, it just clicks.
Yeah. Totes. Who would be a good comedian who would like replace him? I felt like Chappelle would be able to do.
Maria Bamford, she could play this
Yeah.
wavelength for
Thank
sure.
you for saying a woman, Joel.
You know, I wasn't trying to
Yes.
say a woman. I was just trying to say the best comedian for the job.
Wow, that's even better,
Wow.
Joel.
That's
No, because she's kind of Harlan Williams, like how she just like makes the energy a little off, and then you're
Right.
off, and then energy.
that would
like,
be perfect.
Oh, hi. I would. Hi. Oh, I've heard
That's
of
from
that
A to
for
B.
in the car.
That's right. That's good. That's good.
Oh yeah, and she would have
Unless,
the
of course,
best
somebody
turn
comes
here
up
too.
with,
She would also
6-minute abs,
self-destruct
then
at
you're in
this.
trouble, huh?
I think Amy Schumer would do well at it.
Shut your.
Now Schumer wouldn't be able to like go off kilter
She doesn't
enough,
make you uncomfortable enough.
No, not
unless
6.
I look at her arm.
She'd have a different.
She'd have a different bit. Her bit would be
That's what
about
takes you
sex.
down in this community.
She would make Ben Stiller feel
point.
uncomfortable about
7's the
sex.
key number here. Think about it. 7
Seven.
11.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I think could do it.
7, man, that's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea? It's like you're dreaming about gorgonzola cheese when it's clearly brie time, baby. Step into my office,
Why?
because you're fucking fired.
I think Owen Wilson could play
Yeah.
this.
You know what?
That's great.
I think Owen Wilson could play it.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, but they would have to insert the funniest thing Owen Wilson ever says. It'd just be
Tell it.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think, wow, I think I'm gonna kill myself.
Got a great new app. Anytime you're thinking about killing yourself, you press a button. Sorry.
Is that Owen
If you're
Wilson?
feeling suicidal, go ahead and call for help.
Man, you know stand-up's dead because 3 people
You know.
who are stand-ups like, what comedian do you want to see in this role? Owen Wilson. You know, Ben Stiller, friend.
The joke was that he's in all of his movies.
Right.
And also, I think he would just be good at the part. Very cool. Well, great scene to pick, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. Did you have any favorite scenes?
I gotta pee. I'm just
Oh.
gonna.
He
Oops.
said the cum scene.
I love the scene like where they
Joel's
give
all about the cum
they give
scene.
him like a funny a scene to be funny. This Harlan Williams characters, and then they tried to do the same with Tucker/Norm. A little later on, he has this like
so
physical
bad.
bit, and it's terrible. It lasts forever. Like the scene in Mary's office where he keeps dropping his keys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like a guy who has polio.
Yeah.
No.
Is that the disease?
What's
I mean, he's faking it, so it doesn't really matter
He's
what it is.
faking polio, right?
what? Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Or it could be
You know, he's got arm crutches. So that's the
muscular
disease.
dystrophy or something.
Yeah.
But
What's the biggest lie you ever told?
Before
first?
I move on and
Okay.
answer this question, that keys bit did get me when he went back out and it happened again. That was
you're a child.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, Keysbit didn't hit with me. I thought you
gotcha.
could just kind of see the cracks in the performance. I thought.
What's the biggest lie you've ever told,
Lie
Joel?
I've ever told.
to get with someone? The way
Oh.
this whole movie.
Well, we've already established I told Matt that I was a year older than I was. But that's not the biggest lie, I'm sure.
That's a tough one. I don't think I lie like that. That seems like
I love you.
I mean, that seems like a big one, you know?
I don't know.
Constantly be looking over your shoulder.
I pretend to be really well, I've always pretended to, like, if I'm just trying to get with somebody and not, like, be with them, I would just pretend to like the same music as them because a lot of dudes are, like, real into you liking their music.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
we just lie. Like,
What bands did you pretend to like?
Yeah. Oh, man. I can only imagine.
Dave Matthews Band for sure. I pretended to memorized a few of the lyrics to an extent.
Yeah, but it seems like he probably has some hot fans.
He has some very earthy fans, some very chill fans.
That's a
like,
regional thing.
They're still
Joel.
very broy though.
Yeah, they're broy. They play soccer.
Yeah,
they smoke pot.
yes, all of that. And then a lot of rappers, you would just pretend I really liked them for, yeah.
Oh, I love the game.
Oh yeah, Nas. Might actually like him, but I guess yeah, I'm sure there were a few. But yeah, no, that's probably the biggest way I've ever lied. They're just pretending to be interested in the things they're interested in.
What's your biggest lie, Joel?
Well, it wasn't really to a girl, but like we tricked her parents into thinking we were getting married and that I was Muslim.
Okay.
Like I dated this girl on and off through like high school and community college, and like she was Muslim, so we wanted her to be able to stay out late. So I told her. So we went in front of the priest and we just gave him a line of bullshit, but it like meant something to her family. And then my family kicked me out for throwing a party. I threw a drunk spelling bee at my house. And so for a few months when I was 19, I lived with this family as their Muslim son.
Oh my God. First off, you're having themed parties at 19. Good for you.
Well, that
is impressive.
It was a long distance relationship between my friend Ben, who you should check out, the Flippist Flip Books, best stuff. Ben and Summer, he was in Detroit, they were in St. Louis. And they would surprise each other long distance. So Summer came to my house and I threw a party so she could surprise him. My mom knew about the party. I threw it anyway. And for the big surprise, he just stepped in the house. He's like, I smell a woman. And he smelled her immediately like a dog. So the surprise was ruined. He sniffed out his love.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that beautiful, Shelby?
Romance is dead.
Maybe she just has a strong perfume. I would hope that it wasn't just like a regular sniff of like just a bathed woman.
Anyway, that is sweet. That is a nice thing that you did to help your friend Joel.
But the drunken spelling bee, let's go back to that real fast.
Yeah, I remember like walking outside in that party and my friend was all pissed off and he was just going over the word he misspelled. He's just like, satellite. Satellite. I went out on stomach. And for the prize, the guy who we threw the party for, Ben, we gave away a bust of his head.
That's so insane. You're 19 and you're like coordinating this wonderful party with prizes, and like you have to have like coordination. And
that
like
is impressive, Joel.
Spelling bee master, or what do you call that guy? A
There's
judge?
nothing I like more than a good, and Matt knows this about me. Matt, what is my number one pet peeve?
Small dicks.
And what's my number two?
Don't respect the theme.
That is my number one thing I hate above all else is when people disrespect a theme.
Oh, like the guy who shows up to a Halloween party without a costume.
Oh,
she'll fucking slit that dude's throat.
Tale as old as time. It is so disrespectful. But over New Year's, get this, Joel. His mom invited us to. She doesn't listen to this, right?
No
She doesn't know how to do this.
She's gonna figure it out eventually, though.
His mom invited us to a New Year's Eve party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I asked her 3 times, what is the attire for this evening? And she 3 times said it was casual. And we got there. And it was a Great Gatsby gala.
It was so good.
People were in fucking tuxedos and ball gowns. And I was wearing a turtleneck and a corduroy skirt. And he was in jeans. It was.
Well, if you
I
guys
had
are,
a nice sweatshirt on, though.
Appalling. It was appalling.
if you really want to be Zelda Fitzgerald, you could just die young.
Dude, and then my mom later on almost seemingly knew how to get under her skin more. She was like, why didn't you bring a feather?
Why didn't you bring anything on theme? And I was like, if you would have told me.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Shelby's like crunched up like a breadstick.
Yeah,
Like,
but if I was Matt's mother, I wouldn't have told you because I know you probably would have spent about $300 on those costumes for that night. Like, I know you have that basic understanding of like how decadently opulent of a person you are. So I know that if you don't spend all that money on New Year's, you're probably buying my baby boy a few more Christmas presents.
Wow,
Yeah,
that probably is
boy.
her end game, and it still pisses me off. The only person dressed worse than Matt was a guy who was wearing shorts, but that's because he had one leg.
So, wrapping up and doing some final thoughts on the movie. I'll let you guys take it away. Let's start with Shelby because she liked it less. But if you could just encapsulate.
I think it's a great comedy. I don't like that the romantic aspect. Didn't find it romantic for sure. But you're
Okay.
not
So that's not speaking to what your main motivation is for a movie, is what you're saying.
right. But I just wish that
Let me ask you this one question:
what.
if we replace Ben Stiller with Matthew McConaughey, would you like this movie more?
No way. No, part of the charm was that he was a dorky guy. I would like it more if it was like
Don't lick your lips before you say
Like-
a male actor's name.
Andy, what's his name from SNL?
Dick.
Yes.
Oh.
Sandberg.
Sudeikis. She's
He
talking
keeps-
about Sudeikis. He's got a hot wife too.
Andy Samberg.
Oh, Sandberg? I thought you were going to say Jason Sudeikis.
No.
Yeah, that
Andy
Andy.
Sudeikis.
I want to fuck Sudeikis, I guess.
Okay, well, anyway.
Sandberg
this
has
was,
a hot wife
my
too.
thoughts were that it was a good movie. It was funny. Ended a little weird for me, but it was good.
And there's a lot of movies for men. Like most culture is for men, but I think it's kind of pandering. Like I think this movie has better insight on how men think and feel, especially how they get kind of like fixated.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen many movies of any ilks go into that kind of territory and really explore it.
I would
like
say
this movie
that
did.
was impressive was that it didn't feel predatory. I would actually say, like, I know you brought up that scene with the blowjob and stuff, but it
Yeah.
didn't feel like that to me. Like, I was expecting this to be a lot grosser to watch, like, as a woman, and
Right.
it really wasn't. I felt the fact that they were, like, not all just like, I'm gonna fuck Mary.
Well, they
like,
didn't
were
talk
in
about
love.
fucking
yeah,
once.
right.
Yeah.
They were more like obsessed with her in like a I want to be with her kind of way.
And
Right.
props to Cameron Diaz, who we maybe should have given more depth throughout for because like ultimately she's just like the framework of the story, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But she's this male ideal, but she's still strong enough where she feels like a three-dimensional character.
Right.
Yeah.
Just from her saying like what she actually wants in a person and
Right.
also seeing like some of the extra about like her volunteering and stuff and all of that. We get a little background into her. She's not just one dimensional.
Yeah, but if this
Yeah.
wasn't in the wrong hands, that role could have been such a disaster. Like,
Right.
Yeah. This movie really did come together quite perfectly, where there are so many turns that could have been navigated incorrectly.
and I do feel like it did that kind of comedy trick that they sometimes do, where they have the fun song on the end credits.
Yeah.
Which wasn't even in that song. It was used heavily in the marketing for the film at the time. Would I remember that? But like,
what was it?
why don't you build me up,
Build me up.
buttercup baby, just to let me down,
Let me down.
mess me around. Worst of all,
I don't know
worst
where
of all, you never call baby when you say you will.
Say you will.
But I love you still.
I need you. I need you. More than anyone,
Yeah.
darling. you know that I have
Stop.
fill me up, buttercup. Don't break my heart.
And like even they planned that, like that thing was in like the end. No, it was in the end credits, and then the first trailers for the first commercial spots. This came out, and it was just audience members singing that on their way out, interspliced with the clips and the reviews.
Yeah.
So like they get like I feel like The Hangover kind of did like I don't like The Hangover. But like
they use that same technique.
They use that Flow Rider song right round. So like leaving the theater
Riding
while
dirty?
that right
It's
round.
like a party when you're leaving.
Flow Rider just makes like general party music. Like
riding dirty.
You spin me right round,
Yeah.
baby, right round. Like
That was Flow Rider?
yeah.
It was like a remix.
Flow Rider has some hits. If you look at his play counts on Spotify, you will be astounded. They're in like the 300 millions.
Right. And this movie takes place in Flow Rider.
It's what if it was just like the Osmosis Jones. Turns out we were in a colon this whole time.
And you know, like if they remade this movie present day, I feel like 4 stalkers, you know, going after one person, it'd be so much more of a darker
One of them's a woman
tone.
for sure.
Bisexual stalker for sure.
Jennifer
You guys
Lawrence.
seem really threatened.
No,
Well, that's what they did in
No,
Scott Pilgrim.
I'm just kidding.
right?
I'm just kidding. Okay.
but they would need to just to like fully flesh it out, and it'll be like
Sorry.
Was that the doorbell?
Yeah.
You can't answer it. It's like 10 o'clock. Get him, Tilly. It's Mike Recine. Tilly, come here. He's okay, baby. You're ruining everything. I think we should keep all this in. this little B-roll on Mike Recine walking into the house, so everything stops. There's no way that we can recover from stopping for 5 minutes.
All right, so Mike Racine's in the background now.
All right, guys, that was Mike Recine.
we're
we
wrapping
terrified
up.
the shit out of the dog.
it's fine.
Like it's fine.
All right.
Like you never came over.
This should really bump your numbers this week.
In Italian, yelling the N train. You really have the full Queen's experience right here.
Mike, what did you think of There's Something About Mary?
I never saw the whole thing. What? Because my parents like rented it one night, and I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Was it because of her nipples?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it was
But
because
I
of the
was really
cum
weird
scene.
about like being obedient to what my parents said. Like if a movie was rated R, they're like, "You can't watch R-rated movies." I'd be like, "Okay, Mom, I won't."
I actually agree with that. Yeah, I never really did that stuff either.
Yeah.
I never snuck into an R-rated movie.
Huh.
I know, very interesting.
All right, well, thanks for your
That was
input,
a great
Mike.
opinion on that movie.
Great.
You can watch it now.
Yeah, I rented it. I've got it for another 46 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
you're-
want to hang out till 1 a.m. here, it's cool.
Yeah.
Watch them sleep afterwards. It'll be great.
All right. Joel, final thoughts.
I think it's a great fucking movie. I think it's like When Harry Met Sally with more coming.
Shelby, final thoughts.
If there were retards in that movie aside from Billy Crystal.
I'm just gonna.
We need more boys on this podcast. That's the problem.
Wow. Well, I don't think you would have gotten my heated commentary on what a strong 3-dimensional figure she was if you had all men. So
That's true.
You know.
No, I mean just even in the background.
Think about what your
help
listeners
cheer,
really want.
Cheer it on.
yeah, it was a good movie. It was nothing like Harry Meets Sally, except for that the man was creepy in that one too. So we're all good here. It was a fine movie. 3 out of 5 stars.
Well,
They're both movies about a blonde falling in love with a Jew.
That's true. It is a woman who's way too out of their league, being way too concerned with the feelings and emotional labor of some Jew.
Yeah, they're similar because in Germany they're both classified as horror films.
Oh yeah, I get it, Joel. That's funny.
Yeah,
We can cut all this.
Yeah, no, keep it in. We need 2 hours of this shit.
All right, guys. social media. Do you want to plug anything, Joel? This is coming out tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow?
Yeah, baby.
Well, I'm having knee surgery. I'm going to Cuba and having knee surgery.
All
so
right.
I'll see you motherfuckers in April.
Hell yeah. Wait, is that because because it's like cheaper down there?
No, I'm
No,
just going
it's
to like
just-
fuck around and like have a good time before I'm like on crutches for a few weeks.
Okay.
He's not getting the surgery in Cuba.
It's a lot of people go to different countries to get fucking dental work. All right.
The surgery is just a guy puts out a cigar on my knee.
Cuban surgery. I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I like that accent.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was not
Shelby,
even close.
social media, plug anything?
At Shabby Trailer, and that's it.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody, and come back next week. I'm
No.
sorry about last week.
What are you watching
Okay.
next week?
Rush Hour.
Oh God.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, bye.